Hi guys, today I'm going to be talking about a common question I get asked by quite a few of my clients, which is basically trying to understand the difference between a correspondence address versus a registered office address or a registered business address. Now, at some point, you are going to need to definitely understand the differences between these two. But most importantly, if you're looking to register a company at Companies House, you will definitely need to have one or both of these pieces of information at your fingertips at the point of registration. Hi there, my name is Tess and I'm a UK-based qualified accountant, and on this channel I share lots of useful information to help small business owners and entrepreneurs like yourself. If you ever want to work with me on a one-on-one basis, then you can do this by looking for the link directly in the description box below, and it will also be pinned in the comments section below. So let's dive straight in there. Let's start by defining what exactly a correspondence address is. So your correspondence address is basically any address where you can receive your mails and your parcels. Okay, so it is an address that can be registered virtually anywhere in the world. You can also actually use your registered office address as your correspondence address. Okay, so there is a lot of flexibility with regards to what your correspondence address can be. Okay, so you are not tied down to actually using an address that is in the UK as your correspondence address, as it can be located practically anywhere in the world. Now, on the other hand, a registered office address or a registered business address is the address that your company was actually registered at the point of incorporation. What does incorporation mean? Incorporation basically means this is the address that you gave to Companies House or HMRC at the point at which you were setting up the company. So this address is very important because this particular address must be in the UK or in the same country or jurisdiction that your company was actually incorporated in. So that means if your company was incorporated in England or Wales or Scotland, your registered office address, your registered business address must also be there as well. Okay, it's also important because this particular address is going to be displayed publicly. So a lot of people, anyone can basically look up your company name and they can see what your registered office or registered business address is. So it's very important that you pay attention to what particular address you're going to use as your registered office address, because if you are trying to keep your information hidden and you don't want this to be made publicly, then you do need to make sure that you're paying particular attention to what address you use as your registered office address. Although your registered office address needs to be in the UK or in the same jurisdiction as where it was incorporated, it does not need to be in the same country where you carry out your trading activities. So let me give you an example. I had a client reach out to me who basically had a supposed venture that was back in Kenya, for instance, but wanted to set up a company or a sort of, subsidiary here in the UK. Now, if that particular company actually does its trading activities over in Kenya, you do not have to have your registered office address back in Kenya, for instance. Okay, so but you are still going to be able to open up a company here in the UK. There's a particular process and steps to that depending on what exactly it is you want to do as a business owner and what your particular business venture actually is. But that is just an example to show that it doesn't really matter where your trading activities in the world is being carried out, but it's very important that wherever your company was incorporated in is the same country where your registered office address is. So that's very, very important. And the second question I get asked a lot is, can I use my home address as my registered office address? And the answer to this is yes, you can. However, as an accountant, I wouldn't generally recommend this, as I feel that because your registered office address is going to be available on the public domain, it might not be great for those who are looking to retain and maintain their privacy. Of course, it's totally up to you, but you are free to use your home address as your registered office address as well. Another thing you need to be aware about with your registered office address is that this is the address where you're actually going to be receiving all your statutory information and correspondence from, you know, a lot of the authorities. So Companies House, HMRC, you know, and any other government agencies that are out there. So it's very important that this particular address is an address that you're comfortable sharing with those government agencies, and it's very important that this particular address is kept up to date. Now, you are able to change these addresses at any point, okay, but it is obviously important that you follow the right steps to doing so. So if at the start, when you're actually registering your company and you wanted to temporarily use your home address, you could do that with a viewpoint to actually changing this in the future when you eventually get a suitable alternative. But I just thought to share my points on this particular differences and things to think about before you actually decide on what address to use as your correspondence address and what address to use as your registered office or business address. I've also got a video up on my channel where I talk about virtual addresses and how you can use a virtual address for your business. So if that's something that interests you, do make sure you watch the video that pops up right here. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please make sure that you give this video a like. Make sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications if you haven't already done so. I will see you in my next video.